Good evening. Good evening. I appreciate everybody coming out. We got a full crowd here this evening. My name's Kevin Bowman, and I've had the privilege of being board president for MSD this past year. This evening, basically what this is a work session. We have these on occasions to gather information and so forth. Tonight, we're blessed with the presentation of the study. We're blessed to be able to follow through and have the presentation of the study by Dr. Yeager and his partner, Rick Vorick. Earlier this year, the board voted to say yes to Steve's organization. And we've been very pleased with them. They've been very, very good to work with. And so I'm not going to take much more time. I'll turn it over to Steve, and he'll do what he wants to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you all for being here. I grew up, and this place is kind of nostalgic for me. I know you played sectionals in here years and years, decades ago, so it brings back memories for me. But we do appreciate the fact that everybody's here. Didn't know what to expect, how many to expect, but it looks like we've got a really, really good crowd. The purpose of this study was for Rick and I to visit with students and parents, taxpayers, board members, any resident in the district, MSD district. And we were gathering input on, A, what do you like? What do you appreciate? Thank you. What do you appreciate about the school district? As good as we are, what could we do better? We want to talk about the future of the district. And I recognize a lot of faces out there, so a lot of people met with us, and I do appreciate the fact that you took more time out of your days and your busy schedules to be with us this evening. Special acknowledgement, I want to also acknowledge that the superintendent of the district and his team has advertised throughout the district many, many times to give the opportunity, give the community the opportunity to come in and meet with us. Specifically, he did the following. He and his team advertised on 2 radio stations, both local newspapers, conducted district Facebook posts, information posts on the district website, and they used the school's messenger system to call 2,267 phone numbers to let people know we're conducting this study. Come see us. Come talk with us. And we'll talk about how many we visited with and how many meetings we had in just a moment. Let me introduce myself. Most of you have heard this that attended one of our sessions. I'm a Wells County kid, grew up in Ossian, and my first job was in East Allen County Schools as an elementary instructor. From there, I went, still in East Allen County Schools, to a K through 8 building. First building was K5, K through 8 building, and I did the middle school part of the K-8 building. PE Health and Science, went back to Northern Norwell High School as guidance director. Was there 6 years as guidance director. And back then, when you wanted to get into administration, you typically had to move. And so my wife and 3 kids and I moved to southern Indiana, a little town called Paoli. And I know there's a couple of people in this district from Paoli. So enjoyed talking with them and was able to reconvene with them and talk about people we both knew. Was in Paoli as an assistant principal for a 7 through 12 building. And after 2 years, moved back north side of Fort Wayne, Northwest Allen, Carroll High School, Huntertown area, and I opened a 7 through 9 building. And that building that takes us to 1990s. 85 to 90 was in that 7 through 9 building. And that takes us to 1990. 1990 was asked to be superintendent at Northwest Allen and was there through 2009. And in 2009 decided he needed a change and a little different visions and different challenges. So moved from Northwest to Southwest. And in Southwest, that's Homestead High School, was there for 5 years. That takes us to 2014, retired in 2014. Since that time, Rick and I and another gentleman have been conducting these kinds of studies where we go out and get information from the community and tell the board what the community's thinking. And they're going to hear what you're thinking. And they know, because I told them during the interview, I'm not pulling any punches. When you tell us things that the board needs to hear, sometimes it's not what we want to hear, but the board needs to hear what the community thoughts are. So we're going to pass those along, and I'm going to turn it over to Rick. Rick Borick.
My name is Rick Borick. I'm a retired elementary principal from Northwest Elm County Schools as well. Steve was my boss for 19 years. We won't hold that against him too much, but I started my career at Connersville as a teacher, and then moved into administration in Monticello, the North High School Corporation, and finished up my career at Northwest Elm. I was there for 26 years in 2 elementary buildings. I've been trying to stay retired, but they've called me back twice to do 2 interim positions. Just one last spring in an elementary with 700 children. So my wife told me the other day, I went to visit the superintendent's office, and she said, do not sign anything while you're there. So I do have a connection to Wabash. My wife grew up here. She graduated actually in this building from Wabash City High School. Her name was Judy Reynolds. So I am familiar with the community, and delivered a lot of fuel oil for her dad over the years throughout the county. So that's kind of my background. I have 4 grandchildren. My daughter is a teacher. My son is an assistant principal, and my wife ended up being a first grade teacher as well. So we have a lot of people in education. And I too appreciate the turnout this evening. It's like Steve and I talked many times going back and forth, and really appreciate the opportunity that we've had to meet some people and make some connections here in the community.
So here's how this usually works. We'll give a report this evening. The board will take the report under advisement. They'll start working with the information, the report with the leadership team, administrative team, and take it the direction that they want to take it. So that's how this evening will go. So we'll start off.
Steve said we have met with, had 150 different meetings with 512 different individuals, and Steve outlined some of those before. We met with parents, certified employees, classified employees, all the board members, students, taxpayers, local governments, civic leaders. Steve met with the Heartland Career Center people and Wabash Miami Area Program for Exceptional Children. So we had 512 different individuals that we met with and went over these following questions.
So what are those questions? First one we talked about was, what do you value or appreciate about your school and or school district? I know this is repeat for many of you, but we need to make sure we cover all of these so we all know where we're going at the same time. As good as we are, we can become better by. Next question. Should Metropolitan School District of Wabash County consider one or more of the A through I options? And we're going to get to A through I in just a second. And then the last one is, what have we not discussed that you would like for us to know? And that question was filled with some amazing comments and really deep thinking comments from this community. I'm really pleased to hear how you're thinking about your school and your school district. Rick, I'm going to let him go through A through I. He has a really good synopsis and can summarize a lot of these comments or these questions or points in A through I. So I'm going to turn it over to Rick.
Okay, so these A through I considerations, some of them have to do with consolidation and some of them don't. So we'll kind of go through those and let you know some of the options that might be available to this community. First of all is to work cooperatively with Wabash City Schools and other school districts to effectively provide upper level course offerings. Right now, there are some course offerings that are offered at both high schools that are very limited as far as the numbers of children that can take those classes. There's one teacher at South that only teaches a business classes. The only class that she teaches are the only ones that are offered in Wabash County. So B would be to work together for sharing more services between Wabash City and Metro and any other district. So these are things that probably should be happening right now. Right now there's one student that is taking a physics class in Wabash City from South. And obviously we have some students that are going to the Heartland Career Center that are taking some classes there as well. So now we get into some other different options, and this is to leave the school system intact and use any other additional taxpayer money to benefit our schools. And as you all know, there are two resources that the school can use as any additional tax money, and that is your cash balance, which has been built up over the last several years. And the other is to pass a referendum to increase your taxes. So those are the only two options that are left if you want to leave things the way that they are. This first option, D, has to do with consolidation. That would be Wabash City Schools consolidate into MSD and retain Southwood and Northfield as high schools as they are now, high school, middle schools. And Wabash City Schools would also retain their middle school as it is now, and Wabash High School students would choose to either go to South or to North. So you'd have two high schools. You would have the North building and the South building would stay as their current structure, but add approximately 240 students, 9 through 12, to their roster, which they can handle. Wabash City High School would be closed or repurposed in some way. In option E, it would be the opposite, and that would be Wabash City Schools consolidate into MSD, and the senior high school students from South into North, just the 9 through 12, would go into the current Wabash City campus. So that would become a dedicated 9 through 12 campus. Those middle schoolers that currently attend Wabash City would then go either north or south. So you'd have one high school, two middle schools, and you would probably have 3 elementary schools. So probably that would include closing one of the MSD school buildings. Option F is for Wabash City Schools to consolidate into MSD, and the new district builds a new high school, realizing that the taxpayers for MSD, which is approximately 79% of the assessed evaluation, would cover the cost of that building, and make South and North middle schools and close both Wabash High School and Wabash Middle School. So D, E, and F have to do with consolidation. G is to keep the school system intact and make North the high school and South the middle school. I think this was something that was proposed 2 years ago. Also, can I backstep just a little bit? If you were to build a new consolidated high school, we checked with an architectural firm in Fort Wayne, it would be between $45 and $50 million for about 1,000 students. H is to keep the school district intact, and since MSD taxpayers would pay 79% of the new consolidated high school, instead build a new middle high school for MSD students, and South and North would be rededicated to be pre-K to 5th grade. So H does not have to do with consolidation. And other possibilities that we heard from the community, there were some that were a little far-fetched, but some that were very on track. One would be to consolidate the administration to the 2 different school corporations and have one governing body but keep the buildings the same. So that was one proposal that did come up.
Another one was if Heartland Career Center is cramped for space and Wabash City is open, move Heartland Career Center down there. Those are just 2 of the opinions regarding item I. Next. What do you value or appreciate about your school and or school district? I'll just tell the board and the administration, these people love your school. They're very connected with those schools, and they love the fact that they have a great staff. I will tell you, Rick and I each have 41 years of experience in education, and we saw really solid education going on, solid instruction going on. They love the small school feel. The administrative team is respected, K through 12. Buildings are in good shape. Sharp Creek may need the most attention, but by and large, the buildings are in pretty good shape. And begin silent instruction going on in all of the buildings. Heartland Career Center is a valuable asset. People look at that and realize what a great facility that is. Had the opportunity to go through that facility and really enjoyed myself and saw what's happening, doing some great things with young men and women.
Also, too, in the other proposals, other considerations, it was brought up too that Heartland is a great asset to the community, but probably could be even utilized even more in doing some cooperative efforts between not only North and South, but also with the city as well.
By the students, schools are viewed as safe environments. Students, parents, and community all felt the same. Here's one that came out the first day. We were at Northfield, but the sentiment was the same in Southwood. It didn't make any difference to the young people. By the way, we talked from third graders through seniors. And not all the third graders and not all the seniors, about 7 or 8 at each grade level. But they didn't care who they talked with. If they had a concern, they could go to any adult in the building and share their thoughts and ideas and concerns with them. If they needed help, they could go to the principal, they could go to the head cook. They all had a connection. That's a powerful statement from students. Moving on.
As good as we are, we can become better by, and the number one thing that we heard from kids, from students, is to increase academic selections and opportunities for them. Across the board, at all schools, that was the number one thing that came across to us. Not only the academics, but also the opportunities, especially some of the fine arts opportunities. Drama programs have been dropped. Band programs have been dropped. There are a lot of kids out there that's their niche. I know when I was growing up, that was one of my niches as well, was music. So there are a lot of students out there that feel like that they would like to see more opportunities, not just at the higher academic classes, but also some of the other selections as well. And some of that includes sports opportunities as well. Putting students first in all considerations and decisions. Looking at what is being offered for our children and how can we make that better for those kids so that they can be prepared to go wherever they want to go, be it college or into some trade. Improving board trust and transparency. This is a number one consideration too from a lot of people that we interviewed, that whatever is done from the school board, it needs to be done in a very transparent and open way.
As a former superintendent, I can tell you, it doesn't make any difference how much you communicate. It's not enough. And I wish I had an answer for that. But other than to just keep talking and communicating and sharing and being open with your constituents. We can become better by addressing the issue of losing great staff members because of salaries and fringe benefits. And I can tell you a lot of the staff members, I won't say a lot, a number of the staff members that we talk to are hanging on because they love this school district. They love the small school atmosphere. But they're not sure how much longer they can hang on. If they can drive 15 minutes and get an $8,000 raise, take that times 25 years of experience, that's a significant number. They want to stay here. They want to stay here. We can become better by not allowing political thinking to interfere with logical solutions. Whose logic and whose politics? That's a tough one. That's one we heard frequently. Addressing classes with low enrollment in both high schools. Right now, there are 44 classes with 10 or fewer students in both high schools combined. And that's fiscally unsustainable. We got to address that. We have to take that on. We can become better by ensuring teachers are fully credentialed in their assigned teaching areas. I can tell you Fort Wayne Community School still has 60 teachers that they need to hire. 60. How far are we in? 8 weeks in? So it's not just a problem here, it's across the state. promoting an increase in cash balance without reducing certified and classified personnel and without reducing their hours. That's a tough one. But that's when you're increasing your cash balance because it's against the law for the board and the superintendent to operate in a negative cash balance. So to increase that 88 to 92%. Percentage is, Mike. 88 to 92% is the average across the state of personnel within budgets. So 88 to 92% of your budget is involved with personnel and fringe benefits.
So if the board to consolidate, the community and staff would like to know, and I think this community has been tossing the consolidation thought around for years. We were kind of joking earlier this evening, Steve and I have found out more about Wabash history than we really cared to know, because it does go way back to 12 high schools at one time. And so the consolidation issue, and in fact one of the students told us, they said, they've been talking about this since I was in 4th grade, and she's a senior now. So it's obviously an issue that's been out there, but some of the things that people have told us that they would like to know is the Wabash City's attrition rate for their staff. Are they losing staff as well? Is Wabash City gaining or losing students, and how many each year? If the district leadership teams at MSD and WCS have they had any recent consolidation discussions? If the school board from each district have formally or informally met, and if so, how recently?
Why the Metro Board pulled out of the, we would like to know why the Metro Board pulled out of a recent foundation survey. We'd like to know the condition of Wabash High School. We're consolidating. If we're consolidating, what's the condition of that school? It's built in 1925. I've been in it, but just in the gym, not been through the building. We'd like to know if Wabash High School can accommodate 912 from throughout the county. And we'd like to know if local, sorry, I'm not following you, if local elected officials have an opinion on consolidation.
One of the big issues that we ran into is if consolidation is considered, who pays for what? What debt is carried over from one school corporation to the next? And so finding out about the statutory guidelines for consolidation of appointed and elected school boards. So that information is out there, but that needs to be shared with everybody so that intelligent decisions can be made. And the Wabash City School enrollment for grades K or 7 through 12. And Steve's going to share with you the current 7 through 12 enrollment for Northfield and Southwood.
Here's Metro. You can see the chart, grades 7 through 12, Northfield, Southwood, totals over the right-hand column. 9 through 12 enrollment for Northfield and Southwood. Northfield is 284, 285, total 569. In 2017, sorry, right, this is yours. 2017, 254 students transferred from Wabash City to Metro. 254 kids transferred from City to Metro. And 251 transferred from Metro to City. So you've almost got a wash between there. And in 2018, MSD has 97 kindergartners students enrolled. There are 50, is it 50 at North and 47 at South? I think that's correct, isn't it? 60 and 47? Okay. Okay. What have we not discussed that we'd like for us to know? What have we not discussed that you'd like for us to know? We heard this in many different forms, but this is what people said, and this is somebody put this in front of us that in this manner, and it makes a lot of sense. We all know each other. We're one community. We attend church together. Our children participate in community sports activities together. We shop together. We work together. We come together as a community to support any athletic team headed to the state playoffs, and our kids know each other through community activities and social media. When the conversation turns to schools, the community becomes divided. Didn't hear that just once, numerous times.
Another quote that we heard is, "We're Wabash, not city or metro. Our kids are Wabash kids." That's what our decision needs to focus upon. We need to stop fighting over kids and start fighting for kids.
Had one parent or several parents said, students who want to learn and teachers who care make our school district special. In spite of all the emotion that's out there, people love this district. They love this district. What would you like us to know? Improve district marketing, and I've talked with Mr. Kefauver, and I know what he does, and if I were to say add something, I'm not sure what it would be, Mike, but that's what's coming out. Restore the positive image of MSD. Keeping kids in mind. Be more efficient and effective with fiscal and facility concerns. The key to that is the words before the comma, keeping kids in mind.
This was probably a comment that I heard personally more than any other comment that we probably put out there tonight. What we're doing now is good. What's wrong with becoming great? And the MSD and Wabash City School Boards need to talk and consider solutions for all involved now, whether that is consolidation or not. And students are missing out on educational opportunities every day that we delay. When students' academic needs are considered, most will support some form of consolidation. I was really surprised to hear that, but when it came down to it, a lot of people said, we know what's happening. We know declining enrollment, and if it has to happen, it has to happen. But let's look at any other avenue that we possibly can. There's a lot of duplicity that exists between the two school districts at the administrative level, and district leaders may need to consider a 2-degree change in vision to discover educational solutions and community support.
When this person said this to me, I said, what in the world are you talking about? And when he explained it, it's nothing more. Sometimes we get so focused on what our interests are and where we think we need to go. You don't even have to turn your head. Just move your eyes 2 degrees and see if there's something different there. See if there's a different option, different choice, different opportunity. You don't have to look far sometimes. Consolidation does not mean the loss of the small school field. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. The public appreciates the opportunity to have input in the decision. I think tonight is an example of how much this is an example of how much they appreciate the opportunity to be here and be a part of this decision and the information that you're receiving. And this is, by the way, audience, this is the first time this board has seen this. They have not. It's the first time, the same time you did. The A through I discussion items must be vetted before a decision can be made. So all those A through I numbers, the ones that Rick went through, we need to know before any decision is passed on or moved on, what's the advantage for kids? What's the disadvantage for kids? What's the advantage for taxpayers? What's the disadvantage for taxpayers? How about transportation? Advantages and disadvantages. Most importantly, what's best for kids in their education as we let them matriculate through our schools. School boards should be challenged to create the vision for the future education of our youth. Getting towards the close here. We've all had people in our lives who make a difference. You can think back, I can too. adults that made a difference in my life, and if they weren't there, where in the heck would I be today? If just one of those people that helped push me forward. As we look at this, infants and toddlers and K through 12 students are depending on this board and the input from the community to be part of that influence in their lives, so that they can look back 5 years from now, or we can look back 10 years from now and say, whatever the board decides, that was a great decision. And the great decision would happen because of the input from the community. But the board can be part of that influence.
One of the things that we need to do is set aside prejudices, preconceived opinions, thoughts, and ideas. And I discussed this with Dr. Yeager and several other people, that there are so many misconceptions and misinformation out in this community, and that's one of the things that goes back to what Dr. Yeager said about vetting all those different choices. All that information needs to be out there, because all the people that we talk to, the 512 people plus that we talk to, there are a lot of opinions and a lot of misinformation and misdirection out there. So it's very important that that information get out there to everybody. And also we need to set aside our love of school colors and mascots. If it does come down to consolidation, you know, the past is the past. We need to move forward as to what's best for our kids. District leaders are called to do what is possible for the district's children and young adults, and the price of inaction maximizes the educational sacrifices students will realize and experience.
Closing remarks, make a decision which is logical and void of emotion. It's so hard to get emotion out of decisions. So hard. We've got to make sure we take emotion out of the decision, because we're still working with children. Make a decision for the benefit of children. And as the senior at Northfield said, just make a decision. She said it just like that. Just make a decision. Let's move on.
Whatever decision is going to be made, whatever action is taken, we know that some people will be pleased. We know some people will be disappointed. We know some people will be angry. And some people will celebrate.
We are, as board members and administrative team, community, and along with everybody else in the audience, a community of learners, and trying to discover what their passion is. This district has the passion. Oh, believe me, this district does have the passion. This district does have the potential. Most importantly, this district has the talent to implement whatever decision these board members make. The talent is there to help this district move forward. We all know this. Increased clarity decreases anxiety. Time after time after time. If we know and understand something, it sure lowers our anxiety. You can't get to where you're going by focusing in the rearview mirror. Gotta look ahead. Now you do have to look back and look back and see what the decisions were in the past. Were those good? Were those bad? Do we need to keep on with those? Do we need to modify those? Do we need to make that 2-degree change in our vision? It's part of what the board's challenge is. Common focus. There is power in common focus. You won't have it here yet. It's closer. It's not here yet. It's coming. Again, the board is challenged to gather that common focus from the input from all of you in the audience. Here's our favorite.
Finite thinkers think, how can I beat the other guy? Infinite thinkers think, how can we be the greatest? And that came from one of your fellow community members.
I want to thank everybody who contributed to this study, and that being the students, parents, taxpayers, the public, school administration, school board. Board, you've asked for input and you received it. It's honest input from your honest patrons. taxpayers, and all that group that I just mentioned. You have a lot to be proud of with this school district. And as I mentioned before, the compassion, sincerity, the desire to become better and work toward what is best is shared by all. Based on the input received, this district is looking to the board for direction for Wabash Metro learners. Rick and I wish you the best with this decision. You've got some direction, board. You've got some thoughts from your community, and you're going to take this under advisement and work through it and try and implement as much as you can for betterment of girls and boys. Thank you very much for your attendance this evening.
Steve just informed me that typically he does not take questions from the audience, but a little bit I've been around both Rick and Steve. They're very open, and I'm sure they would be wanting to talk, but they are planning to talk to the media first. So, and then I also want to address this from a personal standpoint, and I think I can speak for you guys too on the board. I do best one-on-one. I love talking to people. That's when I feel like I can gather information from who I'm talking to, and maybe they can learn a little bit from what I'm trying to say too. So our phone numbers and everything are on the website. Don't hesitate to call. I'm even willing to drop by your house and talk. This is a big issue to us. We do not take this lightly. Moving ahead, think about it practically all the time, and I'm sure the board does too. I know that for a fact. It's a great group of people that I work with. And so at this time, I think we're adjourned. Thank you.